Hi everyone, welcome back to The Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Fantom, and tonight we will be doing an unboxing and review of Transformers Siege War for Cybertron 35th Anniversary Animation Edition Megatron. So this particular figure came out for the 35th anniversary of the line. It followed the original release of the Siege Voyager class molds. So from this, there was Classic Animation style Megatron, Classic Animation style Optimus, and then there was a Sound Blaster, and I don't know what else they did for these, because now I'm conflating them with the Netflix, only on Netflix, branded, animation accurate painted figures from Siege. But suffice it to say, I have been sitting on this one for a while, mainly because I have the original Siege Megatron, and I really like the figure. I think it's a great figure. And I really just didn't, at the time, see a need to open Classic Animation version Megatron. But I need to open everything that I've been moving into my collection room. So how about we get started with this? So we have a very nice, attractive package. It is this odd shape that War for Cybertron figures came in, Voyager class figures came in. This is the special edition Classic Animation Megatron. You see him behind the plastic. It's very nice. It's a very nice cel-shaded animation look. A blank side, essentially, with 35, because this was the 35th anniversary. So this was 2019. So then we just have, once again, just a CG rendering of Megatron, and then this is supposed to be his Cybertron tank mode, not his Earth tank mode, because there was some minor retooling on his arms to make him look more like an Abrams tank for Earthrise. But in any case, we also have this Netflix animation model of Megatron in these nice scintillating cartoon accurate cel-shaded colors, and on the bottom you just got text. So let's pop this one open. First we have instructions, which I may need considering it's been so long since I transformed Siege Megatron, but we'll see. The instructions is just the typical Siege instructions. There's no changes here from the original version of the toy itself. It transforms exactly the same. I still don't like the fact that they give you the stupid readout on how strong his weapons are, but there's still no, like, tech specs. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So here we have cartoon version, classic cartoon version Megatron. I don't know if that's a defect or whether that's supposed to be there, but that is definitely a discoloration. Initial impressions, he looks really nice. Let's get him out of this package. All right, so here we have the figure outside of the box. So yeah, looking at him, it's a nice update of the color scheme from the original toy. I actually really like the Siege Megatron mold. And I mean, I could be in the minority here, but I actually prefer the Cybertron Siege mode than the retool that they did for Earthrise, where he transforms into an actual Abrams tank. See, this is the problem. The problem is the new color scheme, the new paint job, is highlighting different things on this figure than the original version. On the whole, I really do like this revised color scheme. It looks very close to G1 Megatron's colors from the show. And considering the fact that War for Cybertron, the entire trilogy is so beholden to G1, it's almost a no-brainer. I still have the same issues with this version, obviously, that I did with the original Siege figure, because it's the exact same mold. I don't like the fact that his hands go all the way open because of this tab that you have to use to flip his fist out. It just bumps up against there, and that's really irritating. They could have very easily done a cutout there, or just molded this slightly differently so that this little tab wouldn't get stuck against that, so then his hand would actually be out straight rather than at this weird pivot. which I guess works for his fusion cannon, but doesn't really work for his other hand. It's not a huge deal. It's just something that I didn't like from the original figure that now I'm seeing once again here. I do like the fact that there is no negative space. He is fully encapsulated. There are no glaring, huge open spaces or holes or anything that really need to be covered with filler. I mean, these, but that's not really a big deal. That really isn't anything, really. And the way that they've molded it makes it seem as though it's supposed to be there. Obviously, he's taking a lot from the, what was it, Titan's Return Megatron? The huge tank with the huge tank treads on his back. So that's clearly where we are getting this backpack from. But yeah, I feel like he's it's an extraordinarily good likeness. I enjoy this particular color scheme. Like I said, I don't particularly care for the hand placement, but on the whole, I think it's really nice. I still can't get over this. This is so weird, but whatever. Why a sword? Why not a mace? Anyway, so let's transform him and take a look at him in his vehicle mode, shall we? So here we have Megatron in his vehicular mode, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it's the greatest mode ever. I never really did think it was a great mode to begin with. It's okay. It's very much like Soundwave's mode from Reconnaissance mode from More Than Meets the Eye, where he just kind of shoves his arms and head in and leans forward. It's just like, yeah, he just kind of like falls down, and here he is. And that's it. I mean, the turret does turn, so that's something good. And I mean, it looks mildly tank-ish. So I really don't have any problems with it. This is a tank. And the robot mode more than makes up for it. Let's just say that right off the bat. It's a pretty good mold. The alt mode is just not great. It's just really not great, and it's not great mainly because it's just not good. It's just really not good. The feet don't get secured. I mean, really, the best thing to do would have been if this foot turned around and then went down, so it wouldn't swoop on the back. His arms becoming the turret is perfectly fine. I like the way that they integrated the sword in. I think that was very smart. It's a very smart way to do it. It kind of disguises his arms just a little bit. I mean, enough. The only part that really is kind of naff is just the front portion. Which is fine. Like I said, it's really more an example of he's lying down now. And there you have it. Megatron's alt mode. It looks okay. I mean, it's hard to say whether this color scheme works for this because obviously this was not what he was in G1. It'll be interesting to compare this to Studio Series 86 Megatron. So I don't really find myself disappointed by this, but it is fairly lackluster compared to other alt modes that he has had. It's easily the best tank mode that we've seen recently. And I mean, the fact that the robot mode more than makes up for pretty much all of the shortcomings of the alt mode. But I actually brought you here under false pretenses. I needed to show Siege Megatron because we're actually going to discuss IDW Megatron. So I went onto eBay and I bought an upgrade kit for Siege Megatron. And what I got was this, after I painstakingly put the kit together. And that's a whole nother story that I will tell you right now. So this is one of two Autobot Megatron conversion kits for Megatank that you can easily find on eBay. I chose this one specifically because I preferred this one's head. The other one has kind of like a weird smirk that I really didn't like. This one has just kind of a neutral face, and I preferred that. The other version of this kit has some differences to the one that I ended up buying, in that they, instead of giving you a brand new torso, chest and torso, they just give you a torso riser that you add to the previously existing figure. And then a lot of these are just hook-in pieces. They're separate pieces that don't have the same functionality as the version that I ended up getting. This particular seller was also selling two different versions of this fusion cannon. One that looked more like IDW Megatron's fusion cannon, and one that looked like the medical kit fusion cannon that he wears in the final issues of Lost Light. I was unsure of the quality of this 3D printed build, so I did not buy that. Also, each of those fusion cannons were like 30 bucks. And this entire set was about 40, I think. So I wasn't going to pay essentially double just to get a fusion cannon. I mean, maybe somewhere down the line I'll pick it up. But it doesn't matter anyway, because Autobot Megatron didn't actually use a fusion cannon for most of the run. He wore a new fusion cannon that Brainstorm designed for him against the DJD and the Dying of the Light, and then he resumes not having one until he shows up again with the AVL at the end of Lost Light. So, but I'm just going to go over very briefly what this kit entailed so that you might be a little bit more prepared for what you need to do to build this set. First of all, I really like this upgrade kit. I think the proportions are nice. The other kit, the other version of this Autobot upgrade kit for Megatank, has custom hands that essentially they clip over this hand. So you don't actually need to change anything, but it just is a piece that goes over the pre-existing arm, and then you just have his actual hand, his original hand is always inside, and then you just have a new hand that comes out here. That's not this kit. This kit actually required taking the pin out of this joint and then replacing the hand in the new arm assemblage, which is fine. It doesn't look fantastic, but it also doesn't look bad. One of the key things about this kit that is interesting is it actually provides pieces that you need to disassemble. You need to disassemble Megatron's arms to replace them. You need to disassemble Megatron's legs and feet to replace them. I mean, to some people, that's not a big deal. This was difficult to get the pins out of Megatron's lower legs. For Autobot Megatron, you end up replacing his feet in their entirety. You end up having to take the pin out of this particular leg part and replace it with a new one that goes into the pre-existing lower leg. These two pieces are clip-ons that go into the 5mm pegs on either side of his legs. His arms, you need to take out this peg here on his lower arm, his elbow, and you need to take out the peg for his hand. You replace that with a secondary hinge here, and you put the new pin into this hand, so it actually goes in here. It's kind of difficult to get in, and I wish I had known some of these things beforehand. You'll see here, this part flips in the original toy to mask the kind of hammer. detail. That is completely replaced. You end up having to replace that entirely with just a piece that doesn't look like anything. These are clip-on pieces that go over his arm, fixed into this particular joint here. Honestly, the biggest issue I had with this was it did not come with instructions. And because it didn't come with instructions, the biggest question mark was this torso. This torso is entirely hollow. You can see here, it's just an over piece. And you can see this is the hinge piece. His entire torso is hollow. There's nothing inside of his torso. You can see here, I will flip this open. You can just see that you just use the pre-existing pin for Megatron and slot it in there. And that's kind of the issue. The hardest pins to get out was this pin here. This pin right here. This was the most difficult pin to get out for obvious reasons. But that's the pin you need to get out, because essentially all you need is this whole piece here, which goes into the new torso. You just replace the pin, you take the whole thing out, and then a new piece slots right in here. But yeah, so it was difficult, and I wish I had known a little bit more about the pin situation with the figure before doing it. But I gotta say, overall, I'm really impressed with the figure. It's really nice. The resin quality is not fantastic. You can see right here that part of it clipped off after I replaced his upper thigh, his lower thigh. I mean, I've still got that piece here somewhere. So I could probably just glue it back. So after everything was said and done, the pieces that you're left with for Megatron are his feet, his little shifting shoulder pieces, the outside of his torso. You can see that I actually needed to break this in order to get the pins out, in order to get the piece that I needed out. His head, and essentially his entire backpack, because you don't need that. You don't need that at all. We are left with an extremely good approximation of Autobot Megatron. I'm happy with it. I think it looks good. I'm happy that I bought it. It wasn't super expensive. I think it looks good. He does technically he still has the ability to transform. I'm not going to do it because with all the pieces that you've disassembled and reassembled, it looks even less like a vehicle than the real Siege Megatron does. He basically just lies down. Because none of these pieces actually get in the way of shifting anything, he just kind of lies down and faces forward. And then that's really it. But I also did not buy this upgrade kit so that I could have a transform. It's nice that they included the fact that he could transform, but I got it because I wanted a version of Autobot Megatron that wasn't the Furry model kit that now costs hundreds of dollars. This cost me $45, to say. It was over the 39 or 45. And it was 39, and then it was like 40 something with shipping. China, obviously. The colors match the original Siege Megatron toy very well. I don't know if other upgrade kits match other versions of the Siege Megatron mold. I did like the fact that this had an entire redesign rather than just covering parts. Like, these are both covered parts in that they are parts that lock into 5mm post to cover details of the original figure. But there are some, like I said, the other kit that it is out there replaces this. You just put this kind of arm piece over this, and there's a fake bottom here where you put a brand new hand, which is on it's removable and it has a ball joint. So he has fists and he's got open hands. And yeah, I'd like the open hands, but I'm not going to go crazy. The quality is very good for resin. The price was right. The colors match fairly well. And all I'm missing is just I need to put an insignia an Autobot insignia decal there. I mean, I'll leave a link to the eBay seller if anyone is looking to pick one of these up. You may need to slightly shave the rotating disc pieces here, because that's mainly what caused the breakage issue. The disc was too large for the manufactured lower thigh, and so when I was trying to force it in, because the other one went in just fine, as I tried to force it in, I ended up cracking the very front piece of it. I will tell you this right now, it's not something that you probably want to undo. You will end up probably destroying your Megatron just in order to get the pins out of his torso, his shoulder torso area. So just be aware of that before you start doing it. I do like the fact that unlike some of the other kits, this does increase his height. Some of the other kits just tack on pieces to his arms and legs, or they'll give you a new head, but everything else about the figure is exactly the same. I like the fact that this looks like a fundamental change. You can see the difference between the two, even though you know that both of them are constructed out of the same pieces. So, thank you very much for joining me today. I apologize for hoodwinking you, but all of my comments about the Siege Megatron mold are still valid. I think that it's a genuinely good mold, and I really like the articulation, and I really like the molding. I don't know if I would have reused it, 6 times? Then again, I'm not Hasbro. On the whole, I think that posability and likeness are excellent. I don't really like the Siege Megatron head. It just looks it reminds me too much of how Megatron looks in the first issues of the Energon universe after he reappears. And it worked for the comic. It does not really work here, and I really didn't think it worked in the War for Cybertron anime, CGI anime trilogy. It's just a little too wide, and his face just looks a little too, I don't know, wide. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy this. If you have picked up one of these Autobot Megatron conversion kits for Megatank, let me know what you thought in the comments. Do you have this exact one? Did you buy one of the others? Would you suggest buying them to anyone else? I really just wanted an IDW Megatron. And so I went on eBay and I found one that looked the best, and here it is. Time Tuesdays are now just a thing of the past, at least until Sentinel Prime gets released later on this year, because that's clearly a Tarn Bludgeon mold retool, remold retool, repaint, remold retool. But yes, I'll be doing a lot more unboxings. As I said earlier, I'm still trying to move everything into my new Transformers room, collection room. The collections, what I have right now is out on shelves, but it's not sorted in any order. And I have so many miscellaneous missiles and weapons and accessories. I really need to go down and make sure that everyone has everything that they came with and actually organize my collection. But I still have 4 enormous cartons of Transformers that I need to dig out of storage and actually put in on shelves. And then I can get to actually doing the unboxing of all of those sealed mint in box Transformers. I'd love to start doing Titan. I've been sitting on Titans for every single War for Cybertron line, and then into Legacy. I'd really like to get to that. But I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope this was mildly informative. You let me know what you'd like to see in the future. I'll be running a poll later on. Should I continue doing, do you want me to do older Transformers? Do you want me to do current Transformers? Do you want me to do something in the middle? Do you want me to do more themed reviews? You let me know. I have been Fantom, and this has been The Shelves Have Eyes. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed this content and you would like to see more of it, please think about liking this video, commenting, and subscribing to the channel so you know when another video drops. Thank you for taking your time to watch my nonsense. Have a good night, y'all.
Transformers, defenders of truth, robots who fight in disguise. Transformers, when the battle is through, only the strong will survive. Till all I want, unknown soldier.